Alright, YouTube, the running joke is that Australia is a dangerous and inhospitable place where virtually every life form really wants to torment or kill you. This is more true, unfortunately, than false. Now they also have thunderstorm asthma, whereby their thunderstorms literally cause people to keel over from respiratory problems. That's how violent and dangerous Australia as a continent really is. This was when whatever divine and benevolent force created the rest of the world, something else obviously created Australia. Now, I'm joking, of course, both about believing in a divine force and, Australia killing you. Thunderstorm asthma has happened elsewhere, but it's an interesting phenomenon, only scantily documented, and there's juries still out apparently on what causes this. I guess the going theory is that certain pollen spores in the ground during one of these thunderstorms actually get broken apart into a very, very fine material that can bypass the normal filtration of the nasal passages and thus cause massive, massive asthma attacks in anyone who has any respiratory difficulties at all. I think the death toll now is 6 people in Melbourne have died. They had dozens and dozens of ER visits from others that didn't die and were, experiencing the typical heavy-handed asthma effects, coughing, wheezing, maybe inability to breathe for a period of time. It can get pretty difficult. Australia has quite a few weird things residing there, especially organisms. It's to the point where there are organisms there that can't even move, just plants or fungi or something, and they want to kill you too. You don't even need to touch them half the time for them to kill you. They've got drop bears, again another joke. They have wild bogans trying to destroy you as well. It's an inhospitable place to be. It's very, very funny that a bunch of what you would think of as stately sort of latent British individuals were the ones that settled it. I suppose because they were used to British cuisine, so nothing can kill them. Also it helped that most of the original settlers of Australia, when it was basically a giant penal colony, were hardened criminals from the British Empire. So they just sort of dumped them in Australia, and they were the only ones strong enough, I guess, to survive. And they've gotten stronger over time to the point where nobody really wants to mess with Australia anymore either. The idea of... I just thought it was funny because even... I didn't know that thunderstorm asthma was a thing. When I looked it up, I'm like, oh yeah, several times this is being documented in Australia. It's like, oh yeah, happened here in Europe once, happened in the US once. All the other reports of it are all from Australia. It's like, yep, it's trying to kill people again. It's sentient. I swear, the continent has such a legendary reputation for being deadly. And I can understand why with all the, funnel web spiders and fear snakes and all these other things they have running around. It's like... the only place on Earth where you've got as many organisms that are potentially dangerous is maybe Florida, because the Everglades have become a dumping ground for everybody's exotic pets, let's face it, and it's just tropical enough for them to survive. So now you got monkeys, you've got chimpanzees, you've got apparently, at least sporadically, you've got breeding cobra populations now in southern Florida, along with the constrictor class of snakes. You've got all sorts of exotic insects and plants that really shouldn't be there, and most of which are poisonous. There's something wrong with them. Other than that, though, if you were to import a bunch of Australian animals in Florida, though, there'd be a mass extinction of all these others. In fact, they could just do that. Take a random sampling of any 10, maybe 20 creatures from Australia. Get them set up as little breeding populations in Florida, and pretty soon all of the other invasive species will be gone, because they'll all have been eaten or poisoned or something. Then you have to deal with the Australian animals that are there. I don't know, maybe you can engineer some virus to take them back out once they've taken care of the cobras and stuff. This video is a little bit joking. I know it's not even really a joking matter. You've got people who have actually died from this. But the concept that a thunderstorm goes through Australia and all of a sudden half a dozen people have massive asthma and die, it fits in pretty well with the Straya archetype of, yes, it will kill you, don't be a tourist here, fuck off, we're full, and won't be full for long if these various animals and plants that kill everything that comes in contact with them have their way. You know, you've got the Steve Irwin kind of feel. Oh, yeah, giant crocodile. There's nothing to this. I see worse every day when I get up out of bed. So I think I'll go wrestle this animal that could potentially rip my limbs off one by one. That's sort of the stereotype. It's sadly true. That's about all. Peace out.